Hey guys, be sure to like and subscribe. I got an interesting conversation today. I'm going to keep this one short. It's mostly, I want to get your input on this. I'd like to get your feelings on this here. I'd like to kind of see what the amount of people out there that feel the same way I feel and other people feel. Because there's a lot of people out there that are starting to feel this. And there was a person the other day I was speaking with. It was a subscriber, really nice guy, fella from Britain. And we were talking the other day, and he asked me a question. He says, do you get embarrassed sometimes by the people in the United States? I think that's the way he worded it. It was something similar to that, but that gets the point across anyway. And I said, yes. It can be very embarrassing sometimes. It can be really embarrassing. And we started talking about that a little bit. I wanted to get your input on that as to how you feel about that. Do you get embarrassed by the U.S. right now and its people? I know this much. I used to have a lot of pride in the United States, and I still do. I have hopes for the United States that will pull out of this. And I mean, we're like a plane heading towards the ground right now, and somebody needs to pull up, but there's no pilot. That's the way I feel about the U.S. right now. It's kind of scary. I love the U.S., and I served in the military and did my time. But you want to know something? If somebody asked me again, I'm not so sure I would serve. I know we've talked about that before, and other people have said, well, I'd serve because I have relatives in the United States, and I'd serve to protect them. I understand that. No matter what, you would serve then. I mean, I have an older sister, and I have some other people in my family. I'm not so sure I feel exactly the same way as that guy if I would serve again. I have a lot of people in my family who I love very much. But would I go back into the military and put myself out for my country today the way people are acting? I don't think I would. That's just my thoughts on that. I think it would have to come to that point where I knew what was going on, what we were fighting for. And if we were fighting for socialism or communism, I don't think I'd fight. Because a lot of the people in the U.S. have kind of changed. The mentality has changed, everything has changed. It's not all about politics. A lot of people blame it on politics. I don't even think it's all politics. You know what I think it is? I think people are changing. The way they think, the way they control themselves, morals. We've gotten away from a lot of things. I'm not saying we're getting away from religion. I'd say we're getting away from God. And that's my thoughts on that. And I don't want to get all religious on here or anything. You guys know my views on that. I'm a Christian. But I think that's part of the problem right there. The other thing is, we can even take that a step further. If you don't believe in God, I'll say it this way. We've got away from morals. Okay? And that's a huge problem. When you start stepping away from morals, it's usually a breakdown. I mean, look at Rome. Rome fell because of all the things that were going on there, debauchery and everything. Rome was a mess when it fell. There was a lot of debauchery going on. They had nothing to hold on to, nothing to grasp onto that they could call their own anymore, because everything was, you had the freedom to do whatever you wanted to do. No matter what it was, no matter how bad it was, no matter how dirty it was or what kind of debauchery it was, everything was okay. And that's what brought down the fall of Rome. That and many other things. There was a lot of things that took down Rome. But today, I think we're watching the implosion of the U.S. We're kind of like Rome. Not that bad yet, but we're getting there. Our thought process today in the United States is totally different than what it was 20 years ago, or 40 years ago, or more. I remember as a kid, families were together. Families meant something. People just didn't break up willy-nilly just because you had one fight in the house. They usually stayed together. The families weren't perfect back then. It wasn't like Leave It to Beaver or anything like that, or the Brady Bunch. That just wasn't true. But it was pretty close to that. We had our issues. We had our problems back then. But you know something? In the end, I think we loved each other more. And today I notice families, the nuclear family is basically gone. When I look back then, families were a lot closer. Nowadays, you get in a fight with your kids or something like that, they never talk to you again. And this is part of the problem. Who wants to love a country that's fallen apart where families mean nothing, where everything that's right is wrong now. It seems like everything's been switched around. If you're a good, decent person now, you're a piece of crap to society. Because you know what? You stand up for principles and morals. And those people are the wrong ones now in today's world. That's the issue. And that's what I'm not proud of. Would I want to fight for those people? Hell no, I wouldn't. But I'm not sure what the number is now. I've heard it's actually gotten worse since I left. And I'm sure it has. Because I remember when I left, I wasn't too proud of the United States. It was one of the major reasons why I left. And it was the people. It's not the politics. Some people say, well, it's all the politics. It's all the political stuff. It is part of it. I'll give you that. But a lot of it is that moral issue. It has to do with morals and the way we've changed. We've become a group of people. We don't even recognize ourselves anymore in the U.S. That's the problem. But anyway, guys, I want to get your 2 cents worth on this. And guys, keep it civil on here, please. That's all I ask. A couple of people have asked me, Steve, why did you censor my thing? Because some people aren't civil. And if you're civil, I'll leave it on. I leave on 99 and 9/10 of the stuff on here. And I'm gonna tell you something. When it goes into this section where YouTube throws it into that category, okay? And when YouTube throws your comment into that category, and sometimes it gets thrown in there and I don't understand why, because I read it and there's nothing wrong with it, but sometimes it gets thrown in there by accident, because I guess the artificial intelligence that reads those is the one that figures out whether it's nasty or not. And sometimes the way we talk on in our comments, or the way Americans talk, I don't think the AI picks up all the things about language and everything. It just doesn't understand it. And most of the stuff I let go on. But there are some abusive comments on there that when I see that, I just kick it off. I don't kick you off the channel unless you're really way out there and pretty rude. And a few people have been kicked off just because they kept it going, and they kept it going and going and going and going. I'm pretty decent with people, but we do have a lot of pride in this channel at keeping it a clean channel. And by clean, I'm not saying clean of opposite thoughts. I'm talking about clean as far as being abusive or being derogatory, being nasty to people. That's the difference. I just ask that people be kind to one another. That's what this channel's about, guys. Just love your brother. If you gotta, we like to have discussions on here, but we like to have a decent conversation going back and forth. So remember that, guys, when you're talking back and forth with somebody. I understand some people are joking and things like that, and I'll let some things slide and go through. It might be a little bit touchy, but we're all adults too. I do let a lot of things slide, but I mean, for the most part, I try to keep the channel clean. And we have a good group of people on here, and I'm very proud of you guys for helping to keep the channel clean. And we're blessed to have you guys on here, and I'm very thankful for that. But anyway, guys, I just want to say that, and be sure to leave your comments on this, guys. I'd really appreciate it, and I think a lot of other people would be interested to hear what you have to say on this. Give me your side. How do you feel about the U.S.? How do you feel about its people now? Do you think things have changed? Do you think where do you see the United States going in another 10, 20 years? I think we're seeing big changes, and it's not for the good. But that's just my thoughts, guys. God bless, guys. Take care.